You are looking at the spot where I was born. I have wanted to do this video for a long time, and I entitled it Back to My Roots because this is where I was born in 1938. It's impossible to pinpoint the exact location of our home because the area is overgrown, and I find it hard to believe I lived where large trees now stand. This was once a thriving community with houses, steam engines, and kids playing in the dusty dirt road. My point of reference is the Anthrace Church, which is the only structure remaining in Anthrace. I can remember seeing this church from our front porch and going to the church on Christmas Eve when they gave the kids oranges and candy. I think the front of the church is a new addition, but the steeple looks the way I remember it. This is the old Tackett Creek School, approximately 1 mile from our home in Anthrace. I can remember walking down the road with my mother during the Second World War to pick up rationing stamps. My sister, who is older than me, attended this school, but I don't know what year. I attended my first Bible school at this church in the 1940s when we moved to Egan after the Second World War. Egan is approximately 1 mile up the road from Anthrace. This is what remains of what we called the filling station and was my destination when I ran away from home to get some gasoline for my tricycle. I spoke of this in one of my other earlier YouTube videos. This is the old Egan School and is now a museum. I cannot remember much about this school. I only attended the 4th grade there. The playground bordered a creek, and some of the kids would play in the creek at recess. Some people upstream dumped sewage into the creek, and my dad told me to never play in that creek because of typhoid fever. The wooden railroad bridge looks the same as it did when I lived there. This is where the building we call the Y stood. I can remember watching Flash Gordon in the theater. I lived up the road about 100 yards on the right. It's a dirt road now, and it was a dirt road then. Children walked up this railroad from Anthrace to school in Egan. This is the track I was talking about in one of my other YouTube videos when I rode over it on my tricycle just before a steam train came through. My poor mother was livid, and she gave me one of the few spankings I ever received. You can see the ominous clouds in the foreground. One of the worst tornadoes ever to hit East Tennessee occurred in the 1930s, just a few miles up the road in a community called Prudence. I decided to turn around this day and ride this storm out in the parking lot of Clearfield School. I talked to some motorcyclists from Georgia who was doing the same thing. Okay, see you guys. Have a good trip.